So really hoping that we see a gray main pick from Feliz early on in Game 2.
Well, Game 2 is going to be Infernal Shrines, and I think on this map, they would like to contest Sonya a lot more. Along with that gray main, as we mentioned, these two teams were going against each other even in open division, and they were trying to take gray main first pick, second pick back then, of course. Before the rework, a lot stronger, but even right now, I think they have to consider that gray main pick.
And something when we talk about Feliz's drafts is the Zeratul, because Hanaton is such a good Zeratul in comparison to the rest of the field. When we look at how many times Zeratul has been played in HGC Korea this season, 17 times Zeratul has been picked. 7 of those times, Zeratul was picked by Hanaton, and he is actually 4-3 on the hero. He is arguably one of Korea's better Zeratools right now. Obviously, we all have the original masters in the top 3 teams. We all know that, you know, Dami has a great Zeratul, Jungha has a great Zeratul, Kyocha has a great Zeratul, Rich has a great Zeratul, but I think
HGC is a
Hanaton...
pretty good Zeratul.
Arguably, yes. I mean, you're undefeated in HGC with
Yes,
Zeratul. So...
I have never been defeated.
So you're actually a better Zeratul than Rich.
I don't even have the actual number. No one has an exact stat on how good I am in HGC. That's an amazing thing.
Talking about the draft, though, Maiev and Garrosh bans from either side, again leaving both Hanzo and Genji up, and I hope for the love of Feliz that they don't choose the Genji this time. I think they have comprehensively proven that they are incapable of utilizing the hero correctly. Just go with Hanzo. You're pretty good with Hanzo.
It just used to be Malfurion first pick, usually.
Oh no.
Again?
Again?
Oh, instant pick. It is the same pick over and over. Different bands, though, this time.
I like this confidence from GLuck. This is the mindset of a championship team, right? You're going for the same strategy, we're going for the same strategy. It's a confidence, it's a statement of confidence in the draft scenarios they have prepared. And to be fair, our Sky Temple and Infernal Shrines, different maps of course, but in general the team fights pan out in roughly the same manner for a prolonged time across a relatively, wide open field objective. So GLuck should be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, last time it was Hanzo's 2-card rotation from Feliz before the ban phase. But maybe different this time, as we are going to Infernal Shrines instead. I think we have to see some different picks. Hanzo, of course, great for the map, controlling the shrine with picking up the numbers.
Are they going to go for the Hanzo again? They stay off it this time, so Stukov, same pick, Malthael. Well, still, it's the same pick, but it's in a different order this time, because last time they picked up Hanzo in the second rotation.
It is a little bit different, but against the same two sustained heroes, Malfurion and Tyrael. And we saw that last right not really connecting at all.
Yeah.
So I do worry already against what Feliz is not really adapting too much into Game 2 here.
I know that Malthael has been changed, and last right's Malthael plays differently into Tyrael compared to the other iteration, but in general, I don't really agree with picking Malthael blindly against a team with Tyrael on it when you don't even know your lane opponent. Not a huge fan.
Usually it's a pickup after the Sonya, but in this case, it'll be Sonya regardless. I think they saw it coming. Maybe they wanted to pick up beforehand because GLuck had their chance of picking and banning.
That actually
right
makes sense, since Zeron is practically guaranteed to pick Sonya anyway, and picking anything else is a dent to GLuck's skill ceiling as a team, so I guess I actually agree with you. The Malthael pick wasn't all that bad. Hanzo is still available if Feliz wants to try to refute the definition of insanity again. They can pick Hanzo variant. Try the same thing again.
Try the same thing, and GLuck so far the same. And the only one left for them to be the same is the Junkrat.
I would be so amused if they ended up picking the exact same compositions once again.
I don't think it would be the first time it happens in Korea. I think we had a game between the top teams.
Oh,
Hanzo.
no. Oh, okay. Do
Okay.
we?
I like this pick a lot more than the variant. Junkrat
Oh
the same!
my god! 9 out of 10 heroes are the exact same.
And even the bans.
Even the band.
So 13 out of 14 is exactly the same.
Wow. Well, at least the map changed.
At least the map changed.
Are any of them using different skins? We need to know.
I don't think so. There was no Johanna before, so I have no idea, but I think it's the same.
I think everyone is using the same
the high school
skins.
Sonya and the Junkrat and everything.
Well, let's see if Johanna was the magic key Team Feliz needed.
It's a different map. Feliz. They can secure a few more CC with the Blessed Shield. But other than that, and also possibly tanking a little bit more against the CCs, totally possible with Johanna.
Blind against the Greymane will be pretty useful as well. So
Oh yes.
arguably a more conservative and reasonable pick compared to the variant. So I mean, it looks pretty silly and it could feel boring for some viewers, but I respect what Feliz is doing here though. They believe in the power of their own preparation. They have faith in what they have prepared, and they have identified internally that their problem was probably the variant, which isn't that great of a tank now that they have thought about it. So they substituted it for Johanna. Let's see how that gambit goes.
Yeah, much better as the blind, as you said. Much better of a wave clear and to sustain near the shrine also. See, in terms of rotation though, Sonya on top. The same exact rotation from Feliz again, having Aimer help on that top solo lane for now.
How much of a chunking will Zeron take is the question, and that was really well played by Zeron, I think.
Only half HP gone.
He had only one route of efficient escape. It was to hit the spear on the Maltheo, and he did it, so...
Actually,
well
Hearts
played.
back him instead of tapping onto the fountain because he had that wave cleared before the rotation came up.
So, very intelligent play and clean mechanics from Zeron in the first minute of the game.
That's what you see from the solo lanes. Of course, not in My Hero League. You see random death oftentimes.
Sounds a lot like Hero League to me.
Of course, I had the most
Except
exciting
for the
games
sometimes part, because it's all of the time.
too. No, it's not. Stop lying, Rally. The mine, Milky Way actually pulling that juke. Nicely done. I almost fell for that too. But they will lose that positioning because they had Sonya pushing the top lane. Let's see how much Cicero can actually... Not too much.
Not too much, but respectable regardless, I think. It would be nice to get a view of the mid lane to see how much damage their mercenaries did to the front gates, and not that much. So GLuck will be feeling quite okay with how things have unfolded. I think it's very easy to argue that Feliz had the slightly stronger early game composition. GLuck is dealing with that pretty well overall.
Leo with the silence, of course his job is to block that sanctification onto Tyrael. And I think that's also why they have been focusing on the Milky Way alone, just forcing down that sanctification, which I don't think it happened in game 1. Maybe with the better tank with Johanna this time, maybe Leo can force that out, or even get a kill without that sanctification landing with that lurking arm, providing that silence. I think that's exactly what they're looking for. And tried it many times, I believe 4 times in game 1. Never really landed, as Tyrael used that sanctification to basically have everyone on it to finish onto the core.
I think something interesting about Felice's pickup of Johanna is that Milky Way's best tank this season is Johanna. He is actually 4-2 on the hero. Seems to have a pretty good grasp on the pick as a whole. Genji going in deep.
Nice aggro by Aimer there, as Relic is taking tons of damage, has to be sustained from Blue Beetle, giving that heal. Winning in numbers so far with Feliz, contesting right now. Aimer gets entangled, will have that protection. Down to 30, so GLuck, after contesting a little bit, decides that they can't really contest, the numbers are way too high for them. And going back to their lanes, I'm liking the switch until sometimes the team actually contests until the very end for no reason, and end up costing a lot more than they should.
Conservative macro decisions from both sides. So far, it's only 4 minutes into the game, but the Johanna pickup, the substitution with Varian rather, seems to be working out pretty well. It's very obvious in the teamfights that Relic is having a much harder time positioning and dealing enough damage for them to justify their draft. The blind seems to be doing a really good job at preventing that.
Always against the Greymane. That's why Cassia was oftentimes a good counter against Greymane, was picked so highly end of last year.
I miss seeing a lot of Cassia. I never liked playing her myself or playing against her, but she was always fun to watch, generally. Funnily enough, Relic probably played the most Cassia in HGC Korea this season, I believe. He played 2 games, probably won both.
Used to be Miracle, played so many times last year, end of last year. Really fallen out of the meta, as Greymane also kind of follows that route. Let's GLuck. Try to rotate on top, try to block that, trying to block these, what they call tiger dudes with the shaman.
Tiger dudes with
Yes. Gone.
Are they really tigers? Because I'm not an expert on Diablo 4
I never
or
zoomed
anything.
in, so I don't know, but I know that's a shaman. And Hanaton taking chunks of damage. OJ coming to save his teammate. Will successfully exit with that mine.
So much damage coming out from Overlord. This Junkrat really is special when it comes to dishing out damage. In terms of overall map rotations, I believe that other players, particularly the players on Ballistics, have a comparable Junkrat. But when it comes to dishing out damage in teamfights, Overlord definitely has a really good case.
Because he's never threatened in the back line, and Aimer, that's, I guess, part of his job is to harass Junkrat, but always waiting for the perfect moment. Maybe hurting them a little bit in terms of team fight potential. As Overlord, he can just show himself all the time and just poke that Q.
This game is the most even game you can possibly hope for.
They're not 10 yet, so... Oh, now it's even.
Yeah. Virtually nothing has been happening all game except for a few opportune engages by both teams, both of which were answered correctly. 0 kills, 0 big structures.
Another cursed bullet from Greymane. It's not going to be the same case onto Johanna now.
Tranquility picked up by Malfurion, which seems to be a reasonable decision against Hanzo and Stukov. And now Theo.
Marteo actually holding that level 10. Thinking Tormented Souls against Sanctifications though, so he has to be thinking a lot. Maybe Last Rite locked in again. Milky Way diving in, slowly providing that silence. Is Liu's doing from the side. Frankel trying to poke him, but so much damage done to Johanna. Liu makes an exit, and that's what Aimer has to do. Actually goes on to Overlord, but we'll get that shield from Tyrael now.
If Zeron is allowed to wreak havoc on Sonya like that, to take up that kind of position continuously in the
Johanna to take way too much damage from Greymane. That's gonna be the first kill. Never really Getting that last right activated OJ also caught a little bit. Maybe Overlord is thinking of that Mind Toss. Presses that, the Iron Skin pops up.
Feliz deciding to go in again at that shrine is the first mistake of the game, and a pretty big one at that. Feliz's engages when it comes to 5v5 full-on frontal team fights has to be about dislocating the Sonya from an advantageous position, and in that last team fight, in the first engage, Sonya had maximum opportunities to keep herself at full health. Really had a perfect angle on the rest of the team fight, and Feliz going in once again after that, not the best decision, so they will be kicking themselves in the teeth a bit.
I think they were really wishing for a kill from Aimer. Junkrat was very low, of course did survive at the end, but I think he was the best chance that he had so far. OJ trying to contest. There's a silence, gets the condemned damage a little bit, but not even in the perfect zone. That tons of damage coming out from the Poison Spear, and the follow-up damage from Greymane will be a kill now.
That was not an inspiring engage by Feliz. The Blessed Shield was rather wasted, so to speak. And overall, they seem to be slightly breaking apart because there is absolutely no reason why they should be committing this hard to these kinds of team fights, especially when they're a talent tier down.
Now's the timing with their team, but Joanna just spawned.
And doesn't even have Blessed Shield up right now, so probably not the good time, the best time to engage.
They're just outplaying the team fight, the positioning and how they are forming around them, around Blue Beetle most likely, of course. Has been very superb, and Overlord is just having fun, just poking from the back because they have a solid front line with Tyrael and Sonya all the time.
I guess the issue that Feliz is continuing to face is that while changing Barry into Johanna really improve their general performance in team fights, particularly because it contains Greymane so well, it doesn't really solve the problem of them being unable to secure resets for the Genji.
Oh, great silence though. I think they can do something else here, and Genji way too late to join into the damage. There's the Sanctification. No damage taken. Leaves the second one to go. Down. And meanwhile, they've been taking more and more damage, not really trading the damage at all.
Considering how poor that engage was for Feliz, they are lucky to escape with only 2 dead members. And this is turning into a massive snowball really quickly.
Just noticing that Genji trying to, maybe luckily, trying to snipe onto Overlord. It's not going to happen. Look at that trap. He's waiting for that moment. He's waiting right there. I think Aimer noticed that and then not really going in.
I mean, you can't bait in a more obvious fashion than that in pro play. So if Aimer had fallen for that, I would be pretty disappointed. He steps on a trap. GLuck will not concentrate on abusing.
Those traps are very annoying, and always throw them into the bushes, into the vent. The enemies will always, yep, just like that. They will always step on it. But meanwhile, Sonya has been soloing the shrine. And they will get the next Punisher. It is the Frozen Punisher. And they are going towards that keep. They have 16. They're out-leveling the opponent, and Martel is going top. Feliz is lost of what to do right now.
They clearly have no idea how to approach these team fights after running into the same problems they ran into in the first game, and arguably for the entire season, because they haven't solved the problem of not knowing how to utilize Genji. Silver Bullets lands all of GLuck at full health, while Feliz are chunked out.
Silence helping a little bit to delay, but Keep is going down regardless. And even with that much time, they're still not 16.
Malthael will try to do the best he can, trying to soak both lanes at once. Not enough, not by a long shot. Only barely hitting 16 right now. Junkrat having the time of his life.
Semi-global as you called it, yes. If the mine only hits you, you get that massive cooldown. We had, I believe, one NA game that Junkrat went into the opponent's core and made it back alive. And that was one of the most amazing Junkrat moments from HGC. Aimer comes in with the Condemn, Blessed Shield already used, but how are they still keeping 80% plus health? Must be Blue Beetle.
Must be Blue Beetle, indeed. I don't think even Tranquility was used either.
It's the shield from Milky Way and the consistent healing. Overlord not even here for the pokes. And they have the sustain. Now flanking from side. Overlord is.
The assassins on GLuck's side are having the time of their lives. Feliz basically don't have a good plan as to how to engage. All they can hope for is a blow-up.
And they don't have Blessed Shield, in this case Silence, and the arrow connects. That's gonna be last Sash securing their kill onto Greymane. And they're onto a chase. Tranquility pops from Blue Beetle, and the Aimer is trying to have that Dragon Blade, but Sanctification as a defensive tool here. They will manage to survive. Just losing a Greymane seemed like the best possible option right after.
That arrow was absolutely amazing. Part of why Tyrael and Malfurion are picked together and why they work together so well is that they are pretty good at covering up for each other with the Sanctification, with either one of Malfurion's ultimates. But what happens if you stun both of them at once? And that's exactly what happened with Frankel's arrow. That was pretty much the only way that Feliz could open up an advantageous engage. Feliz finally managed
to
find... Oh no!
He actually oversteps a little bit too much, but not really getting caught. Blue Beetle misses that entangle, thinking that Hanaton's just passing by.
That was very lucky on the side of
Yes,
Hanaton.
from both sides. I think both sides were just thinking ahead and maybe communicating about something else. It was a dangerous moment. If Greymane was there, I think they would have engaged on Hanaton for sure. Coming in, same talent at least.
I'm not sure if this positioning is the best one Feliz can hope for. They really need another really good arrow engage. And to possibly pick off either Tyrael or Malfurion right away. Luckily made easier due to Malfurion picking Tranquility instead of Twilight Dream.
Just poking into the lane, just so that your lane will be pushing in a lot quicker than it's supposed to. Overlord actually, I think he was trying to go to the bottom lane and clear that, but because they don't have too much time, deciding to come up.
Now Feliz will want to wait out Sonya's heroic, but that isn't going to happen because they're right next to the shrine.
Seron picking up the numbers of the defenders. The arrow connects, and that's going to be the first kill on the Junkrat. Nicely done. Tranquility and Sanctification kind of used all at the same time together.
Another beautiful arrow from Frankel secures Feliz a pickoff, but they were not able to utilize the Genji resets properly. So
The last
right
relic survives. Probably like close to 200 HP. Relic diving in even without the go for the throat. And Aimer almost wanted to snipe that for the kill, but not going to connect.
Relic really playing with fire in this team fight.
Liu shoving Tyrael all the way back means no shield available. Seron's taking that damage. Aimer goes in. And the silence will to finish off. That massive shove went pushed Tyrael all the way into the keep wall there.
That was quite the journey for Tyrael, and I think the start of that team fight, I don't think it was right for GLuck to take it, right? Because Greymane was so low, having been chunked out by the last rites. Why that team fight, the last phase of that team fight rather, began was because Zeron landed the spear onto a stray Genji, taking out half of his health, which was nice, but the problem was that Greymane wasn't able to engage and follow up on that. So again, I think it was a classic case of Zeron's over-eagerness. Taking the best
I know exactly what happened. He pressed onto... When you try to arrow to the right bottom of the screen, you click the minimap instead and it shoots at the random spot. That's exactly what happened from Frankel. It happens, but...
It happens.
Guys, I have to confess, I'm on Hanzo main, and I know that because it happened when I played Hanzo.
Well, at least you play Hanzo in quick match, right?
I can't lie. I played 60 games this season already with Hanzo. Oh, Punisher diving into the keep.
I am shocked and disgusted, but I am not.
You still have to cast with me at least 2 more games, Rally.
Well,
Punisher
that
getting
was a
chunked.
really good defense by GLuck, though.
Holy ground, buying some time. There's a Riptire, maybe focusing onto OJ. Hanaton is going towards the other way, sacrificing himself, maybe.
That could have been an even greater tire, but it was still destructive regardless. I'm actually very impressed that Feliz managed to escape from that with only 1 casualty. GLuck will be feeling really good right now. If they want to be really courageous about this, they can make for a huge play. Try to get a pick-off here at this choke point, but they decide to go for the safer rotations. They will probably aim to possess the rest of their mercenaries on the map. No, they don't. They decide to press the issue on the top lane.
They have a lot more
going
poke,
down.
I would say. And Overlord is now here. He's always off to a weird spot to the side, kind of like where Genji is all the time. Serum popping that. Really want to force onto this wall, at least to open it.
Now Theo is finally up, but Joanna is really low. They cannot go for the chase. Genji just heads down to clear out the bottom lane. This should probably give enough time for GLuck to take the remaining 2 mercenaries on the map.
At least when when they're into the choke at the late game, these kind of passive movements, rotations happen all the time. And I think GLuck is pressing on that perfectly right now.
Johanna went back, and not a lot will happen until the next shrine phase, it seems.
Because Feliz, they have the wave clear, they have Hanzo to clear out the camp easily. And because it's the bottom 1, it will go directly to the core. And Feliz will very likely to have the last ending fight. I think GLuck just want to time it along with the Punisher just so that it creates a lot more pressure. I think Sonya is doing the same from the bottom.
That seems to be the idea.
This Punisher will be very likely be the game-ending one if GLuck takes it.
Even if Feliz take it, it might be a game-ending one if the team fight victory goes huge for the side of Feliz. GLuck will be super happy, of course, about which shrine that spawned.
Because Feliz was coming in, pressuring in a little bit, they had to step on the camp, or a little bit early, I would say. Taking it slow, I like this movement from Feliz. The Seron coming in now. As Sonya on that shrine, you know what's going to happen. Misses onto that Poison Spear.
The fate of Feliz rests on that arrow.
And the silence continues on to Overlord is taken out with the Dragon Blade. And Blue Beetle's also so low, gets taken out by that Genji Dragon Blade. Never ends after that 20. Milky Way is going to be the 3rd one to actually, never mind, for a second. Split second, he will survive few more seconds. But that basically means guaranteed Punisher for Feliz.
How does Franco do it? The only way for them to win team fights is him to land multiple stuns with one arrow.
Exactly
and
what you do.
he managed to do that in 3 consecutive team fights. He got the 3-man arrow off, Stukov immediately followed up. Then comes in Genji with the cleanup Dragon Blades. Amazing plays coming out from Frankel here today. We always knew that he was one of the better skill shot Hanzos in the sense that he always was pretty good with his scatter arrows, but today his ultimates have been absolutely on point.
It's actually pretty hard to land the perfect hit, predicting where the enemies will actually move into. Holy Ground trying to buy some time as Mafia is coming back just now. Junkrat is already on the move with the pokes. This Punisher, 23-minute Punisher, so actually pretty tanky. Getting the keep down will be very likely. The Saron going in as Bluebeard's silence again, very low tranquility. He has to be popped. Aimer not really doing too much damage. Dragon Blade pops, no kills to follow up. This is a big throw by Feliz.
They at least have to get the keep, it seems, or at least escape and scap, but I don't think either of those things are happening. GLuck will manage to defend the bottom keep, and as you said, this indeed seems to be a bit of an over-eagerness on the sides of Feliz. Not a game-ending throw, but certainly a throw. They lose the opportunity to tie out the keep situation. This is very disappointing. This will be very disappointing for Feliz.
Look, they had 2 missions, and the second one was going to be very tough, a game-ending core. But the first one was the keep, and they didn't even complete the first mission as we had the keep here.
And that was an easy mission. All they needed to do was to not overextend and just poke away at the keep.
Great ice block by Blue Beetle there, and popping Tranquility really kept all the teammates. Oh, the Shimada brothers. Never trust them. Backdoor. Let's go for it.
Not the worst of
Happy
backdoor decisions. There's not a lot that GLuck can do in response to that. But this push onto the top lane will be absolutely massive. We're seeing 2 Shamans pushing in full force.
Well, we saw the Shimadas unite here. A great push coming in from GLuck. Holy ground back to time. Actually, Franco eating that curse bullet damage.
If someone has to eat it, it's probably better for it to be Frankel, who will stay in the back line relatively unscathed.
But they have the poke. Junkrat just poking away. Keep will be going down with the extra Q. Aimer taking so much damage. Has to use the shove to protect. Away coming in with the holy ground just to buy time. They get the keep. They can manage to escape safely. There's the arrow connecting onto Overload, but no damage following up. Genji was solo. Had to hard back on. Frankel's also low. Just goes over the wall now.
Frankel giveth and Frankel taketh away. That was not the correct decision. But luckily, Feliz realized that as soon as the arrow left Hanzo's bow, and they decide not to chase, although the Blessed Shield was used as well. Overall, Feliz's gambit, not too terrible. They essentially traded a keep for a keep, which isn't too bad considering there were 1 keep down to 2, but I don't know, I believe GLuck will certainly be feeling a bit better. 2 keeps to 1 is generally more favorable than 1 keep to 0. Right?
Okay, and your math is correct. That's a pretty hard math to pull off, Rally on cast.
And a math.
And this one will be 3 keeps down if GLuck takes it. I think with 26 minutes into the game, I think Punisher can go straight to the core. But GLuck actually has a fort still. And that's a lot of time consuming for Feliz, even if they take the Punisher. Doing some damage. Poison Spear misses. Onto OJ Curse Bullet, so has to pop that Iron Skin early. Gets trapped into Holy Ground. But the arrow will silence and connect. No Sanctification from GLuck. They are on to retreat. OJ is also very low, but saying that Tyrael is not available. That's going to be no shield. There's that Indestructible keeping that teammates alive. Frankel chunking some damage. Actually, tons of damage from Junkrat only. They're forced to go back. The numbers are about even, 20 to 16, only 4 difference.
GLuck looking a lot like the former MVP.
Silence and the Sonya gets deleted after the CC. The massive damage on the focus. But their core is actually going down, so has to retreat. They only have to pick up 5 more, but the core is going down 42%. Genji's on the move. We'll get all the defensive move pulled out, 27. They will pick up the Punisher and also defend the core, but that's a very low of a number to defend next time.
Considering the fort is up, as you mentioned, prior to the entire Shrine fight, I think GLuck will be pretty happy with the outcome of this team fight, although they did lose it, 27% on the core, as you mentioned. Very difficult to play around, especially when there are 2 keeps down. This Punisher will be very easy to defend. GLuck can just calmly pull it to the top keep when
Took
it
this
comes
one out.
over.
As OJ, I think, compared to Hearth back home, maybe... Okay, they were trying to delay the Punisher so that Genji joins. That's why he was trying to Hearth taunt in a way.
Feliz will most likely be looking to pull off another combination of arrows and silences and engage.
Insta cleanse by Blue Beetle right there. Saved Overlord big time. Tranquil Sanctification a little bit too early. But they managed to... The Riptire will get Hanaton alone. There's isolation. The Punisher is keep on stunning the members of GLuck. Milky Way also going very low. OJ popping that Iron Skin for the extra damage. Here comes the Dragon Blade. Aimer, can he get more resets?
The Dragon Blade ended a slight bit too early for Aimer to really capitalize on the resets.
Overlord dodges that!
That was so clutch. That could have spelled the absolute end of GLuck because there were 2 more reset targets available had Overlord died there.
Martel already back from buying back with 20 talent. Oh! Gets caught! For some reason he was trying to poke in. I believe that's going to be game, ladies and gentlemen. As we have Junkrat dead, Tyrael still 27 seconds on the clock to come back. The Sarah focusing on Delil. Support dies, no more sustain. The core is doing damage, Grey, but Greymane falls. Aimer still doing the damage so far. But the catapults are actually on the core to the other side. They have to push all the damage in NA arrow in the mid. In the meantime, they are forced back because of the catapults. What is happening in this game?
2-man route. Zern can chase.
Oh man, this game is insane. 30 minutes in, 13% on the core.
If Zeren lands the spear on Gianna. Alright. That was an insane
Woo! 13%.
turn of events. I honestly thought that the game was absolutely over when Overlord had a sudden lapse of judgment and decided to recall right there in full sight of the enemy team, but
I think Feliz was going to lose if they didn't Hearth back home. So they had to make that decision.
both teams really played that last series of back and forth engages well. Feliz managed to make the correct decision.
Are we playing Volskaya? 31 minutes into Infernal Shrines? This is the one of the rare games.
This reminds me of the 2016 fall European regional finals at Valencia between Dignitas and Fnatic. That was a pretty nice game as well. I haven't seen such a long and interesting game on this map for a very long time.
Oh man, but look at that number. Does it have the shield now? By max, almost to max, but 13% on that core, which basically means one sanctification would be the game-ending one. So they have to, Feliz has to think about the backdoor potential. Their two keeps down, so they have to control the macro. If they lose on macro, it will be game for GLuck, certainly.
This game is certainly living up to the hype. The gravitas of this match, how much the result of this match will mean to both teams. And
oh, the center, is he going for the back door?
That was
Not
really risky positioning
Yes.
from Zeron. I was actually very scared for him,
But Genji's missing, so not as bad, I would say. Oh, are they going to contest over this camp and then finish the game? There's a Blessed Shield with the arrow. Silence connects, but still so much more HP. Genji's not in this fight, by the way, guys, and that's the first buyback. OJ is also very low. And there's an indestructible.
Genji was so far away when Frankel initiated that fight, and it had to been a team call.
May just be over with Frankel just going over the wall.
If you
Safe for now. Sonya's on that Stukov. It's gotta be a kill.
Secures the kill on Stukov, although if Malthael manages to finish off Greymane, but the...
Shaman plus 3 catapults, it's gonna be game regardless. They're picking up more kills. They can't heart back up. Shimada brothers are the ones left, but Genji goes down. Hanjo's the only one. Game is over. That was a long game in Infernal Shrines, and GLuck at the end. We'll take it back. We'll take it again, actually.
Amazing. I agreed with you there. It almost felt like they were coming back up from a lost game. But when you think about it going all the way back, it was their game to win to begin with until Frankel started landing those crazy arrows. Well, he did land a very good arrow at the end as well. The Blessed Shield follow-up was perfect, the silence was perfect, but the Genji wasn't there! What happened for Feliz?
They were rushed. They were trying to catch the macro at least because the shamans and the catapults were coming on the top lane. I'm pretty sure they were noticing that macro play. If they lost the bottom one, it was going to be GG also. So they were rushed. They were down in terms of macro, so
this really has to be heartbreaking for Feliz. They weren't in the driver's seat for most of the game, but once they started coming back, all of their team fights were so on point until the last one.
Sometimes and all the time, when you see that red stop sign, you have to stop completely before crossing. And that's why I failed my first driver's license test, by the way. But it was a long game, almost 33 minutes.
A very long game. Loads of hero damage being done right now. I believe the screen is staying on this endgame screen.
Numbers
so
are crazy. Look at 215k healing. Of course, this was a 30 few minute game, but those numbers are pretty high. And game 2, it was intense. And after this kind of game, when you lose, the feeling that you get, the pressure you get even more. You're down 0-2. It was a close game. Do you really have that confidence, enough confidence to actually come back into the series? I don't think so in my case.
It has to be a very disheartening loss for Feliz. On the plus side, they managed to grip onto what looked to be an almost lost game and almost turned it around, so that does show their strength of character. And going into the latter parts of this particular game, their use of Genji, how they enabled him to get those resets and start the cleanup duty, they haven't shown this kind of coordination around the Genji in ages. This is probably their first good Genji game of the season. So this will definitely give a lot of confidence to how they want to draft in Game 3. The problem is how they psychologically feel right now.
Yeah, Aimer actually got to swing that blade, get some resets. I think it was actually my first time also, but we have some crazy, rare Korean games right now happening between these two teams. The loser goes down to the Crucible match. We'll be back in 5 minutes.